Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, this takes us pretty much to the end of August. We'll be going up towards, I think it's around the 30th of August with this update. And it looks like it's going to be staying pretty unsettled really through next week up to the end of the month. We may get a bit of a build of pressure as we go through to the start of September. It'll be interesting to see what's showing on the long range update that we do tomorrow. That will cover September in more detail. But certainly for the coming week to 10 days, and you're going to see the charts in a moment, it does look pretty mixed, to say the least. Well, before we get on with that, just a quick say about the assets. Links to articles on all pages at gas.com. Have browser widgets, any articles that you're interested in, please click through. You guys go for read the article. Thanks so much for doing that. There's also video ads on most of the page. They open out in the content when you watch them, they'll close back up again. Thanks so much for getting involved. It's helping to pay for the website, so thanks for doing that. Just I'm going to be taking a few days away in about a week's time from the, I think it's from Monday the 31st through to Friday the 4th of September. So there won't be any videos just for those few days. And then after that, I'll be back. And then we start the winter updates, of course. I'll take a look at various aspects leading up to the winter, so that will be starting in September. Right, let's get on with the video, and we're going to start off with the Southern Oscillation Index, just in anticipation for the El Nino update that will be coming up on the website at the weekend, probably on Sunday. Southern Oscillation Index is an index that's reflecting the state of the atmospheric setup in the Southern Ocean, in the Pacific. When the SOI goes negative, it's reflecting an El Nino atmospheric setup. When the SOI goes positive, it's reflecting the reverse of El Nino, which is La Nina, the cold event, and it's reflecting that with a positive SOI. Well, I've been very negative with the SOI over the past few months, so El Nino is more or less established. I'll have more on this on Sunday, but it won't be long now before it's officially designated, I don't think. And we're still getting some very negative numbers within the Southern Oscillation Index. So, for example, the 14th of August came out at minus 30, the 15th came out at minus 31, 16th at minus 28, 17th minus 17, then went a little bit less negative on the 18th, just minus 7, but we're plunging again, so now we're down to minus 16 on the 19th, and minus 31.30 is the very latest number for the Southern Oscillation Index on the 20th for today, of course, in Australia. This is from the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia, and of course in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, they are ahead of us. So they've already got today's number in. So El Nino, I say, well and truly established. It's here. I think it'll be designated officially next month, and we'll be looking at all of that on Sunday with the latest El Nino update. So if you're interested in El Nino and what's going on, then do come back on Sunday. I'll have much more about it. So, getting on with weather for the next week to 10 days, these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. Now, as I did on, I think it's Tuesday's video, I'll flip these around so we can see the UK face on without having to turn our heads around. The downside of this is that I've not got them side by side anymore. So, what's happening here is that we've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS, and you can't really see it, but the GFS is on the bottom, and I'll scroll down to the GFS in a moment. Let me know what you think about this idea of flipping these around so that we can see them face on. I think it's easier to work out what they're showing for the UK, but we do lose the idea of being able to see them side by side. So this is the 500 millibar height anomaly flow chart from the ECMWF first of all, taking us out to the end of the month. I say this goes more or less to the end of August. Blue is extrapolating to low pressure, orange, red extrapolating to high pressure. And what we see here is that we've got a deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic Ocean with a ridge sitting just to the east and the northeast. So this is an unsettled one. The flow is going like that. Because of the orientation of the trough in the Atlantic and the ridge to the east, we could be bringing up some warmer air at times, and really quite humid air actually from the south. If you follow the lines back, and they're sort of indicating the jet stream, we are sucking up air from a southerly source, so it could be relatively warm at times, but that trough will be providing quite a lot of precipitation, particularly I would think to the north and west, where it could be really quite wet indeed. The GFS is down here on the bottom, and it's very similar really. Again, very deep trough in the Atlantic just to our west. We've got this big ridge sitting to the east and the northeast, so the flow, again, it's going rather like this. And it's unsettled. There'll be showers along with spells of rain being pushed in by that trough of low pressure. But again, with the air being sort of a southerly, southwesterly source, we would be dragging up quite warm air at times from the south and the southwest. So it could be pretty warm, but also the potential for quite a lot of precipitation, I think, through the course of next week. And again, that's particularly for the north and west, but all places would have some rain at times. I think the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles are very reflective of all of this. So what we're dealing with the temperatures first of all, remember the red line is the 30-year temperature average, and that's just there, the thick red line. Going to be generally above average through the course of the coming week. The dates are on the bottom of the graph just there. So we're going to be above average into the weekend. The start of next week will turn a bit cooler, just briefly, but then we push up again through into the second half of next week. So generally quite a warmish period coming up. And again, that's because we're dragging up the air from sort of a southerly, southwesterly source. But at the same time, you'll notice all of these spikes on the bottom of the chart, and they are rainfall spikes, so it looks like there's going to be plenty of rain coming up over the next week to 10 days. This is the ensemble chart for London down in the southeast, so you can imagine that it will be wetter than this in the north and the west as well. In fact, we can have a quick look at the Manchester ensemble just to see what that's showing. It will be interesting to see what Manchester's showing. And again, you see big precipitation spikes there right way through towards the end of the month for Manchester. There's September the 1st just there. There's loads of precipitation spikes as we go up to that point. So quite a lot of rain coming up, but pretty warm temperatures. And as we go through into the start of September, and this is still at the extended range of the GFS model, it looks like staying fairly mixed, but not as wet as at the start, as sort of the next week to 10 days for the end of August. But start of September still looks fairly mixed with some rainfall spikes coming through, and probably a little bit cooler then as well. So temperatures maybe dropping off a little bit for the start of September, but the plus side is that we lose these big sort of bouts of heavy rain. It looks like we're going to be getting coming in through the course of next week. The temperature anomaly going from the 20th of August through to the 28th is looking like this, generally warmer than average, so quite a warm week coming up. But the downside is that rainfall is above average, so this is a precipitation anomaly for the 20th to 28th of August, again coming out wetter than average. So let's just have a look at the generic charts. Here we go for Monday. We've got low pressure more or less over the top of the country. It's a very complicated pattern though, as we're going from Saturday into Sunday and then Sunday into Monday. But we'll be risking some thunder in with this and maybe some quite hot temperatures for Saturday. I'm probably going to update Stormwatch later on today, probably this afternoon. This evening I've got to do an update for the bank holiday weekend, so all the updates are sort of stacking up. So the Stormwatch update, if I get it done, will probably be sometime during this afternoon, and then looking at the bank holiday weekend this evening. Anyway, this is how we're going to Monday with low pressure over the top of the country, so showers along with spells of rain, and we stay and settle through the course of next week. This is Tuesday charting to Wednesday. Notice the isobars are coming from quite a long way to the southwest, so we're dragging up warm air out of the tropics, but we've got all these areas of low pressure around the country, so warm and wet basically sums it up as we go through into the middle of next week. And much of the rain will be in the north and west. The south and southeast probably get somewhat drier conditions. We keep it generally quite unsettled through into the second half of next week. Always pretty warm down in the south and the southeast, but these areas of low pressure up to the northwest will be providing bad bouts of rain. And as we go up to day 10, which is Sunday the 30th of August, into the bank holiday weekend, of course, it's still generally an unsettled, changeable scene with low pressure very close to the country. It will be difficult to pin down the exact detail on these rain bands through next week, but I think the general idea is the north and west gets it wettest, and the south and southeast gets it driest. And that's really been the case all summer, of course, where it's been an awful summer for Scotland, Northern Ireland, and parts of northwestern England. East WF very similar for start of next week. We've got low pressure close to the country, so it will be unsettled with showers along with spells of rain. We keep that going through into the middle part of the week as well. You notice again, isobars are going down towards the southwest, so quite warm air being dragged out of the tropics, but lots of low pressure around our quadrant of the Atlantic Ocean, so it's unsettled with showers along with spells of rain. Possibly a little bit of a ridge on Thursday down in the south-southeast. That could drag up some pretty warm air from the south, but this low pressure out the Atlantic is deep at 985 millibars, and that ridge, its days are numbered really with this low pressure coming in at the end of next week, bringing showers along as well as rain. And we end up on day 10, Sunday the 30th of August, still in an unsettled pattern with low pressure, particularly bringing rain to the north and the west. Finally, with GEM, it's all very similar. An unsettled start to next week with showers along with spells of rain. We stay unsettled through to the middle of next week. Isobars again dragging down to the southwest, so pulling up some quite warm air from the tropics, but it's unsettled with low pressure always close to the country, bringing showers or longer spells of rain to the country. And we end up on day 10, Sunday 30th of August, possibly just seeing signs of a bit of a ridge starting to push up from the southwest. So this one does imply that the start of September may have some sort of ridging. Of course, I'd like to see a bit of ridging for the start of September because I'll be away for that period. And it does tend to be a period early September when we get a little bit of high pressure and warmer weather. So it could be that GM is onto something there. And as we get through to the start of September, we will find, probably not lasting all that long, but we'll find a drier, warmer spell setting up for the first week of the month. But we'll have more on that tomorrow when we do the month-head look ahead with the Japanese model and the CFSB2 model as well. But for the next week, 10 days, it looks like the message basically is unsettled, quite warm at times, and also risk of some pretty heavy rain, particularly in the north and the west. So later on this afternoon, we'll probably get Storm Watch going for Saturday, Sunday period. A lot of uncertainty about that, but have a quick look at it on Storm Watch. Then this evening, we'll have a detailed look at Bank Holiday weekend. So loads going on. Keep checking back for more. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.